A very good afternoon to all our viewers. You're watching Lunchtime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Yuki Poshia. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this afternoon. Sugar scam in the retail market. Vaccination centers operating in all 25 districts today. Pay special attention to infants below 2 years. A warning from healthcare officials. Heavy rains in most provinces. Department of Meteorology issues weather forecast. High terror threat at Kabul airport, US warns. Taking a look at your top story for this afternoon, the director of the Lady Ridgeway Hospital for Children in Colombo, Dr. G.S. Vijay Surya, has urged the public to admit infants with symptoms of COVID-19 to hospitals immediately.
We
have come across some incidents where due attention is not paid by parents to their infants. It can be unawareness of the parents on the symptoms of COVID-19. There have been incidents of delayed admission of infants who contracted COVID-19. These infants don't normally show much symptoms, and especially infants below the age of 2 years find it difficult in expressing these symptoms. Even the parents find it difficult to identify these symptoms as a result. Therefore, if you notice any change or symptoms, please rush to a hospital. It doesn't need to be the Lady Ridgeway Hospital. Take your child to the nearest hospital. By doing so, a doctor can examine your child and instruct accordingly. When there are delays in hospitalizing such infants, we doctors also find it difficult to protect the life of your child.
Now, permission has been granted for tourists of all nationalities, including India, to land in Sri Lanka. Minister of Tourism Prasanna Ranatunga said this process will be initiated prioritizing strict health guidelines.
We decided to allow tourist arrivals even during the lockdown. We are liaising with health authorities on the matter. Arrivals from countries including India will be allowed. All those processes will be carried out based on stipulated health guidelines.
Will any tourists be allowed to enter Sri Lanka, or is it only those who are fully vaccinated who will be allowed?
Arrivals from countries that have been temporarily banned will not be allowed. However, those from other countries can arrive. A fully vaccinated person can travel to Sri Lanka after providing a negative exit PCR. Only fully vaccinated people from India will be allowed to arrive in the country. Those arriving from other countries can come into Sri Lanka but will have to undergo quarantine for 14 days.
What are the tourist destinations that will be open for tourists?
22 locations including the Yala National Park and the Temple of the Tooth have been identified and published. There will be no hindrance to visit such locations under the biobubble concept. However, those who are fully vaccinated can enter society.
Will air travel between the Trichy airport in Tamil Nadu and Colombo resume?
Yes, we intend to resume flights. The country has not banned arrivals of any flights. Arrivals from India do not occur because Indian authorities have banned flights from their end.
According to the World Health Organization, Sri Lanka has reported a 40% increase of COVID-19 infections in the country.
The World Health Organization report for this week, published on the 24th of this month, said all countries in the Southeast Asian region reported a decrease in the number of weekly cases, except for Maldives, Sri Lanka and Timor-Leste. In another weekly report issued on the 20th of August, the WHO said all provinces except the Central Province reported an increase in new cases compared to previous weeks. Southern and northwestern provinces are reporting more than 50% of new cases compared to the previous week. The majority of new cases were reported in Western Province with a percentage of 57%. According to the report, the test positivity rate stands at 15.8% at the national level.
Director General of Health Services, Dr. Asila Gunawardena, says all those above the age of 30 in the country have now been inoculated with at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. The COVID-19 vaccine rollout in Sri Lanka is in full swing even today, with vaccination centres in operation covering all districts of the country. 438 vaccination centres have been set up across the country today, with 52 of them operating centering the Ampara district. Further 50 vaccination centres will be in operation in the Batiklu district and 44 in the Ratnapura district. Citizens above the age of 60 and expectant mothers will be inoculated at the Sri Sudarshanarama temple in Valihinda, with our correspondent revealing that the first dose of the Sinopharm vaccine will be administered. The vaccination program is being conducted by the Valipitia Medical Officer of Health. Administering the second dose of the Pfizer vaccine is currently being carried out at the Zahira National School in Putlam.
The total population in Sri Lanka above 30 years is 11.2 million. All of them have been administered at least one dose of the vaccine by now. 50.5% of those above 30 years have been fully vaccinated. 55.3% of all citizens in Sri Lanka have been administered at least one dose of the vaccine, with 26.5% of the total population being fully vaccinated. Sri Lanka's rapid vaccine rollout has garnered praise from the Japanese ambassador in Sri Lanka as well as the representatives of UNICEF Sri Lanka. The sentiments were expressed during an event to donate cold chain equipment procured by UNICEF with funding from the government of Japan through the COVAX facility. The cold chain equipment was handed over to the Minister of Health, Kelia Ramukwella, yesterday. The stock of equipment includes 750 vaccine carriers, 300 cold boxes, 100 ice-lined refrigerators or ILRs, 145 fridge temperature monitors and Android tablets for effective management of vaccines. A statement issued by the Ministry of Health reveals the Japanese government had extended aid worth $16.2 million to Sri Lanka's health sector in 2020 alone. It has been decided to reopen all economic centres on the 28th and 29th of this month, following instructions from the State Minister of Advanced Technology Agriculture, Shashindra Rajapaksa. All economic centres across the country and the Manning Market will be opened for wholesale trade on those 2 days. Arrangements have also been made for those engaged in essential services to purchase their necessities from the economic centres.
Moving on to some more local news, Minister of Ports and Shipping Rohit Abe Gunawardena alleges the opposition's objective is to grab power amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. He expressed these views at a press briefing held at the SLPP headquarters in Batharamulla.
When the country is closed, the opposition claims that the lockdown is incomplete. There are factions who look at this in a narrow manner. They will never see the clear picture. When the factories are closed, when the export industry collapses, foreign exchange stops flowing into the country won't have dollar inflows. When that happens, we won't be able to import oil and essential medicine, encouraging the opposition to claim that the government is unable to carry out its affairs.
අපි දැන් දේශපාලන වශයෙන් ගොඩ නැගෙන්න කියලා ආණ්ඩුව ගෙදර යන්න කියලා සටන් පාටයක් හදාගෙන පාරට බහි.
මේ ආණ්ඩුවේ හිතක් පපුවක් තියෙනවා නම් නිරෝධායනය කරපු පවුල.
We are disappointed at the government's decision to cancel relief packs to families that are being quarantined. As the opposition, we request the government not to inconvenience the helpless public any further. The people of this country do not deserve such a government. Moreover, the cost of living has risen exponentially. Inflation has risen by 0.7%. At a time like this, the government continues to burden the people.
මේ රටේ ජනතාවට විශාල බරක් පටවනවා.
Now, the price of sugar in the market is currently 215 rupees. However, State Minister of Consumer Protection Lasantha Aligewana says sugar can be offered for 105 rupees. If so, what has given rise to this anomaly?
We have to concede that there is a crisis in terms of dollars. We are offering sugar at high prices, which could ideally be sold for around 105 rupees. These stocks are not newly imported ones. It is unfair of the business community to enjoy undue profits at this time. We will launch a program to counter this by next Monday.
The Police Special Task Force have arrested 2 people in possession of heavy-duty explosives from the Mathura and Gandhara police jurisdictions.
Ammonium nitrate, gelatinite rods and other equipment used to manufacture explosives were seized by the Police Special Task Force. The suspects had maintained possession of the explosives under the guise of operating a quarry. The Police Special Task Force said 2 suspects were arrested in connection to the matter. The operation was carried out based on intelligence reports received by the officers of the Southern Province Special Operation Unit of the Police Special Task Force. The operation launched under the supervision of Police Special Task Force Commandant, Deputy Inspector General, Attorney at Law Varuna Jayasundara. The suspects along with the explosives have been handed over to the Mathura police for further investigations.
For your latest weather update, we're now joined by Newsfirst Senitha Senanaika from the newsroom. It's over to you, Senitha.
Thank you. As you know, earlier today, several parts across the island, several areas rather, across the island experienced rainfall. Now, according to the Met Department, showery conditions over the southwestern part of the island is likely to enhance during the next few days. The Met Department also said showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa and central provinces and the Gaul and Mathura districts. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in the Sabaragamuwa province and in the Kaltura, Gaul, Mathura, Kandy and Nuwara Eliya districts. Fairly strong gusty winds up to 40 to 50 kilometers per hour can be expected in the western slope of the central hills, northern central and northern western provinces and in the Hambantota and Trincomalee districts. Let's now take a look at how the prevailing weather conditions has affected many parts of the island.
The highest rainfall, 117 millimeters, has been recorded in the Lanka area in Gaul during the last 24-hour window that ended at 7 this morning. According to the Met Department, Nellore Gaul received 82.5 millimeters of rainfall, while a rainfall of 50 millimeters was experienced in Batharamulla. Heavy rains were experienced in many areas in the Colombo district since last night. Meanwhile, residents say that there is a risk of rock slides in the Rangala-Alagola mountain area due to the adverse weather conditions. According to the area residents, a dangerous situation is affecting their homes as a result of this situation. With the heavy rain we were experiencing, we noticed an earth slip and a huge rock sliding towards our house. Now we don't have a place to live. Even a rock has toppled over the house. We are living in fear. We don't have shelter. We are left with no option but to stay here in this house. If something happens, all 4 of us will die. Small-scale fishermen in Devatavalla, Rathkamvalla and Yakutuvalla in Gaul did not engage in fishing activities today due to rough seas following heavy rains. Our correspondent said that the fishermen have also tied the fishing rods securely. Coasts in Devinuara and Mathura were rough due to the adverse weather condition. According to the Met Department, showers exceeding 100 millimeters are expected in many areas today.
We are expecting an increase in rainfall with the current situation in the southwestern part of the island. There is a possibility of these conditions continuing for another 2 or 3 days. Showers exceeding 100 millimeters are expected in some areas of the western, southern, Sabaragamuwa and the central provinces. Light showers can be expected in the Hambantota district as well. In addition to these, there could be showers in other districts as well. We are expecting showers or thunder showers during the night in the Ubon province and Batiklo and Ampara districts. Also, fairly strong showers or thunder showers can be expected in the southern coastline driven from Colombo to Pothuwil. Fairly strong gusty winds of up to 40 to 50 kilometers per hour can be expected in the northwestern, eastern and southern coastlines of the island as well. With these extreme weather conditions, we urge the public to be more vigilant to avoid accidents that could occur through lightning and heavy winds.
In more local news, reports have emerged of wild elephants encroaching into villages in the Hasalaka area during the day. Even yesterday, wildlife officials took steps to chase away 2 wild elephants that were roaming near the Mahaveli River at 7 in the morning.
The 2 elephants that were chased away in the morning re-entered the area again at 1 in the afternoon. These elephants have caused damage to many paddy fields in the area. The elephant was close to me while I was cutting weeds. I ran away. This happened a day after a person died in Hatarala. Villagers say that these elephants now have gotten used to the crackers they used to chase away these giants. There are around 160 farmers in the Minipe zone who are affected by these encroachments.
It has been the same for 4 years. This is the 5th time the animals damaged this paddy field. No matter how much we keep watch, they manage to damage our crops. We have had many attempts to chase away the elephants. Regardless of that, the elephants eat as much as they want and lay still.
And with that, it's a wrap of Lunchtime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Yuki Portia. Take care and good day.